Hey friend, welcome to the Get Rooted in Health podcast. I'm Gabby Flater, a faith-led wife, mom of 3, certified nutrition consultant, personal trainer, and passionate about changing lives. I know how frustrating it can be to navigate the health and wellness world. You want to be motivated to prioritize your well-being and wish you were more educated when it comes to cultivating a healthy home. Maybe you're a mom who's completely burnt out and needs a fresh perspective on life, or you're searching for a place to feel seen, heard, and encouraged in a godly manner. No matter if you're doing the dishes, getting your sweat on, or drinking reheated coffee while watching the kids play, there is always an opportunity for growth. If you are ready to finally take action about these desires and are ready to learn, grow, and transform your mind, then you are in the right place. It's time to establish deeper roots so you can enjoy a more fruitful and fulfilling harvest. Let's dig in. Hey friends, welcome to the Get Rooted in Health podcast. My name is Gabby, your host. I am a mom of 4, personal trainer, group exercise instructor, health and wellness coach, all of the above. I do it all. And I am here today to encourage you in the idea around consistency. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And one of the reasons I wanted to talk about this is I was just having a conversation with someone at the Y this morning after we finished class, and I brought up that word with him, and he had said it even, and then I was just listening to something else the other day that talked about consistency and routine, and I was just like, there's just so much truth behind it. And I feel like I always say I did a post about it, but I did. And, I know that not everybody sees it and not everyone listens to this podcast. So I know that I can kind of talk about similar things on all these platforms because you guys get bits and pieces of things from all different places. And I just felt like you could use some encouragement because I could always use some encouragement in that area. And you might look at me, and this is where it is. Like, I feel like we always look at someone and be like, wow, they're just so good at X, like whatever it is. And we fail to remind ourselves that where there's strengths, there's always weaknesses. And that's not a bad thing. Like, we're not all going to be good at everything and perfect and like have it all together in every certain area of our life, around relationships, finances, fitness, how you eat, how you spend your money, all the things, like habits, whatever. Like we only have so much time and energy for it all, but the goal is to really find ways to make it happen. Make it so that each area of our life can be as healthy as possible. Rooted in health, the concept behind the name is that we're rooted and established in so many different areas of health. So that doesn't just mean like your body. It means having healthy relationships. You're rooted in them. That you have a healthy, relationship with money or your finances. That your spending habits, your saving habits are in a healthy place. That your body is in a healthy state, that your mind, that your eating habits are in a healthy position, in a healthy place. All those different things. There's probably more that I'm just missing, but you get the concept. So what I wanted to really touch on was just this whole idea around consistency. And I'll share some things that I feel as I was thinking like, man, I know people think I've got it together, but there are areas that I really want to challenge myself in with consistency. But I do want to share with you how it does beautifully unfold for you if you do show up day in and day out. And I was mentioning that you can't expect yourself to grow, to change, any of that if you're not willing to actually change yourself. If you're not willing to accept what it takes for that change to happen, then like don't expect it to happen. Like, does that make sense? Because if you want the growth, if you want the success, then it comes with the consistency. That is the bread and butter, guys. That's the bread and butter to the goal, the dream, the vision, the desire of a certain outcome. If you want to become a better runner, what are you going to have to do? You're going to have to run. Run. If you want to become a more, more of a saver, what are you going to have to do? You're going to have to save more money every day. And how are you going to do that? What are the consistent actions you're going to have to take? You're going to have to stop going through that Starbucks line. You're going to have to create a budget. Maybe you'll have to physically put $5 in a jar every day of the week. Whatever it might be. Where are ways that you can cut back on your spending? If you want to become a better musician, what are you going to have to do? If you want to play the guitar, what are you going to have to do? You're going to have to start playing guitar. You're going to have to either watch YouTube videos, whatever. If you're trying to save money, maybe don't go hire, a guitar instructor to start. Build yourself on it. Create the habit. And then the next level is actually creating something, an external, outside, I guess we'll call it force, or accountability, we'll call it that. An external accountability, so that would be like hiring the instructor. That would be sitting down and meeting with a financial planner or a family member that is really good at finances, because I have one of those right here in my home. Excuse me. This weather really just has my throat real scratchy. If you want to be more consistent with your runs, how do you hold yourself accountable? You create running plans and you stick to them. Who are you going to meet with? What time? Where? How far are you going? Those kinds of things is what's going to take you to the next level. And so I just want to encourage you that you don't need to be consistent. First of all, you don't need to acquire things. It actually just requires you. All that it requires is you and a mindset that's willing to show up each day, despite how you're feeling. We cannot go based off how we're feeling. If we went based off of how we're feeling every single day, we're not always going to feel like it. We're not always going to want to. It's not always going to feel good. It's not always going to feel easy. I suck. It's not working, blah, blah, blah. No, it's not going to work. You're probably going to suck within the first 2 weeks. It's not going to feel good. You're not going to sound good, whatever instrument you're playing. You're running, you're going to be like stopping and walking, or you're going to be like, I am just not feeling it today. That's okay, because that's all part of the process. That is called enduring. And enduring the process is going to allow you to unlock a potential that you didn't know was there. And so I just want you to think about the things in your life where you know that there's potential, but you have to make the time to show up for it. You have to be consistent. You have to say no to other things so that you can say yes to this thing. Now, don't go overwhelm yourself with so many things. And don't just pick running because I'm a runner, okay? Don't just pick, just pick something that you really want to get better at, that you want to incorporate into your life. There's a reason. What's the reason that you want to? Make sure that it's for you, that it's not for somebody else. It has to be for you, or else you're not going to stick to it. If you're doing these things for somebody else, you better really think about why you're doing what you're doing. Okay? And again, when you stay consistent, there's then that next level of where you create the accountability. And then you're enduring this process. And when you endure, guess what? Then you get to overcome. And being an overcomer is like an amazing feeling. You get like a high off of it. Like, it's unreal. And I want you to unlock that so that you can experience whatever that is for you. And so for me, things like, I'm very into, working out, running, my eating habits. They're all very consistent, very regimen, within eating. I don't eat the same thing every day, but I know the things that are going to get me to where I want to be with my protein goals. What are my good sources of carbs? Do I always have all these things on hand? Like, I know it's like it's beaten into me. I don't have to, it doesn't take a lot of time. And that's the other thing, is you put in all this work now, and it's going to take some mental energy. It's going to take the time. But then before you know it, it just becomes like secondhand knowledge. It just becomes subconscious. Like, you're doing things on autopilot. Like, you just know the drill. You know what to do. Your body knows what to do. Your mind knows what to do. Your mind knows not to say, no, I don't feel like doing it. You're kind of like you already know how to combat that. Like, you're like, nope, suck it up. We're doing it. Let's go. We're eating that. We're going on a run. We're, sitting down for 20 minutes to play the guitar. Nope, don't even look at that Starbucks. We are headed to wherever. You made your coffee at home. Like, whatever. Like, you have to find those mindset conversations with yourself to be able to combat when you want to give in to your emotions, your feelings. We cannot be led by those, because there are many, many a times when I didn't want to get out of bed. And there are days when you do have to listen to your body and really check in. But if it's towards the beginning of like all of this, no, you actually just have to buckle up and do it. If you need to set your alarm and put your alarm across the room so that it forces you to get out of bed, do that. Okay? Forces you to get up and out. Go turn on a light, wake yourself up, put on some music if you need to, move your body a little, and you'll be awake before you know it. If said things that you want to do need to happen early in the morning, which is majority of my things. So with running, for me, I mean, I have just wanted to stay consistent with this heart rate training. And I plan to do an episode, a little bit more on the ins and outs of that. But the general concept is working your heart muscles. And it's like, it's just working with your heart. And I would always go out based on speed. And I was always like, oh, that wasn't fast enough. Or like, come on, pick up the pace. And then it's just like, I never gave myself an actual easy run. And when I actually started hearing that and reading more about that and understanding that, I understood it and I grasped that concept of like, wow, I actually never really run easy. And I'm talking 9-10 minute paces is where I need to be. More like 10 if I really want to have that lower heart rate. And the goal is to run at that lower heart rate for a longer period of time to strengthen that heart muscle, that cardio, your aerobic base, so that you can get faster but work less. So it's less effort for your body to perform faster. Like, isn't that awesome? Like, that's the goal, is be consistent so that it's not hard work down the road. It just happens naturally. It's a no-brainer. It takes less of your time or your energy. You're more efficient and you feel better and you're doing good in your life. You feel good about it rather than feeling guilty, because guilt just like weighs us down. And so I've just, ever since having my fourth child back in March, when I showed up to running 12 weeks after that, I said, okay, I'm going to really dig my heels in and let go of my ego and let's figure out this heart rate training stuff. You started using a heart rate strap. And then with my watch, I use a Coros, and they came out with an armband that is, I've tested it. It is very spot on with the chest strap. So it's really nice for females who have, boobs and sports bras. And so I don't have to wear anything around my chest. It actually goes right on my arm, and it measures the blood volume going through your valves there, your vessels. So it is different. It also is different than the watch. So it syncs to my watch now, but when I would notice the difference between wearing a heart rate monitor versus what my watch would pick up for heart rate, they could be 5, 7, maybe 10 beats off. And that's a big deal. And so I needed to know if I was going to really commit to this, that I needed to have something that was accurate. And so then I did a time trial, 5K time trial, so that I could see what my max heart rate would be, so that I then could figure out my zones and what was truly an easy zone for me. And so now I've been incorporating workouts, and yeah, it's been a fun summer and fall. I'm actually gearing up to do a half marathon, and that will be completed by the time this episode comes out. I'll have done that on October 21st. Super excited. I wasn't planning on racing anything, but hey, I kind of trained myself up in a roundabout way and was like, well, I feel good. There's one around here local that would work perfect. We have nothing going on that weekend or that day. And beautiful fall weather, and it'll be just before winter, and then our tax season hits, where it's just really hard for me to commit to other outside things, and I get what I get in terms of running. And so I'm really excited. So stay tuned for episode on that. I think I'll share my takeaways from that. I apologize if you hear my little one in the background. She's talking in the room next door. So yeah, just consistency. I've been consistent with my eating habits. I know what things are going to get me to my protein goals. I always have them on hand. And when they're not on hand, I am wandering through my home. Like, what do I want to eat? What do I feel like? Well, I don't want to know what I feel like. I want to have on hand what I know I need to eat to hit my goals, to feel good. Grocery shopping, like I know where to go. I know what foods. I'm a label reader. And so now I pretty much know all the things in Costco and Aldi and Metro Market or Pick and Save, whatever. I know the ins and outs, and every now and again I'll grab something else and check it out. But like, I know where to go. I know where to get my things. Lifting weights. I've been consistent with that, and I am not afraid to lift heavy. I now have the confidence, being consistent and growing in that and enduring the process is going to build so much confidence in yourself. Just watch. But I do want to share, whatever, a lot of you listening, it might be the fitness. It might be what is, weighing on you right now, that you want to become more consistent in that. That's why you're here with this podcast and with my, Instagram or my Facebook or whatever I share. That's why you're here. And I'm so here for that. And so I hope that I can encourage you, like, just be consistent in setting out your clothes. Be consistent with that getting up with your alarm. Don't hit snooze. Be consistent with having that water filled at your counter, so that your first thing in the morning is you grab that. Know what you're going to do for a workout. If you want to start a running type thing, then, figure out where you need to start. Just put on those shoes, get to the gym, use the treadmill if you have one at home, or if you hit the road. I know it's dark out, so get some gear. Be safe. Okay. I run with a belt, a flip belt. They have a light that goes right in my belt. Knox gear is another light up vest that I use. They also have a light that you can clip to your vest. I mean, there's so much stuff. So please don't just run in the dark, because it's literally just not safe. I've been terrified when I've not even noticed someone out there running because they weren't wearing anything. Or if you're a driver, you don't want to not see someone. So that was just a side note, a tangent. So just make sure that you are finding the little things that are going to be consistent. Put sticky notes in places to remind you of your why. And, let that motivate you. All right, I had to do a brief pause and go grab my little one. Like I said, sometimes, so my kids are next door. We mom swap every other Thursday. And so it's been hard to record because Estella will be awake. So we'll just see how well she does here. I'm almost done. Anyway, so back to consistency. Yeah, so put sticky notes all around, things that are going to motivate you. Set that accountability. Put it on your calendar. Whatever it might be for you. gather your resources. And once you start to surround yourself with more of that mindset and that goal and that commitment of wanting to be consistent, things are going to start popping up in your life, popping up on your phone. Like you're going to start following runners or health, people that eat healthy food or make healthy recipes. And then you're going to all of a sudden see more of that, or you're going to hear more about it. Like what you focus on, you find. We've talked about this. And so the more you focus on it, the more you're going to find that you are surrounded with like-minded people or people that are going to challenge you to grow in that area that you want to grow in. Sometimes you just have to have a no quit mentality. Like you just got to show up and do the do. Like it does not look perfect. It does not look pretty. It is all in the mundane, guys. Seriously, like it's the bread and butter. Okay. It's not going to look any prettier than bread and butter. There's no color to it. Okay. The color happens at the end. The beautifulness happens at the end of when you put in that work day in and day out. And a lot of the times, because we have social media, we have phones, we only see people's end results. And so then we just fail to remind ourselves, just because we didn't see it, it doesn't mean it didn't happen. We fail to remind ourselves that those people had to endure a process. They had to endure the consistent day in, day out, bread and butter, mundane consistency. And sometimes they didn't always get the glory from it. Or they didn't always feel good, or they didn't always want to. But guess what? They committed. They made a decision. And so be a decision maker and stick to it. If you've got to reroute a little bit, if you've got to just pick yourself back up, do it. But don't put it aside because you failed one day. Like it's a part of the process, stepping stones. And so, an area for sure for me, could be, with this podcast, like being consistent. There are days when I'm like, I don't feel like recording. Like many times I don't feel like recording, but then I know when I come here and I do this, all of a sudden it just flows out of me and I feel really good about it. And I'm like, why do I beat myself up so much? And I just wanted to be real with you guys about that. And so I think for me, what it looks like is just, I have to set the date. I have to set the time, and I have to be consistent and probably start recording like every day to start getting myself in the hang of how it feels to fight that battle in my mind of like, how am I going to do it with my kids? It's got to be quiet. Okay, now the baby's awake. What if she, how do I keep her out of everything? Because she is so mobile. And okay, I don't want my kids to always be watching TV while I'm on. So I guess I just won't do it because they already watched a show and now I don't know when to do it. Or they're all in bed. Now I just want to watch a show. I could go out into the office, my husband's office, and use his room because he's not working. But do I really want to do it? This is my me time. Like this literally is my brain, guys. I'm like literally telling you. I could use time at night, but I'm like, no, I don't want to. I've been on all day and I just want to have downtime. But sometimes that's just what I got to do. That's what you got to do. There are some areas where I could probably cut back on some spending to allow us to save a little bit more. We have really big hopes and dreams of more land, and we're in a space where we can definitely afford that. We'd live very much within our means, but I know that I could do better in that area. Consistency in, for me personally, reading my Bible is just, it's so sporadic. And reading books in general, where I'm like, I should read books. And honestly, guess what? I have so many shoulds that if I just started something and just started to be consistent with it, then I could tack on another one. And I wouldn't have so many of these shoulds weighing me down. And honestly, sometimes it creates anxiety inside of me. So just think about the things that are maybe creating all this like anxiety, guilt, shame, depression, whatever it might be. And it just probably is because we're lacking consistency. We're lacking the confidence, which comes from being consistent and seeing that day in and day out results happen. That's where it builds your confidence. Confidence building. And so the fact now, like with my running, that I can go outside and run some workouts where I don't have to rely on the treadmill and I'm faster than what I would allow myself to go on the treadmill. I'm faster outside. like, holy smokes, did that build my confidence? Where I was running, I saw like a 5:57 minute per mile. I didn't run a mile at that pace, but I was running 400 meter repeats. So that's one time around the track. If for any of you track people are just a visual, like I never once would have thought I could do that, but I was with some friends and she's like, just come and do it with us. It's pretty much the workout I gave you to do before your race, so just come join us. And I was like, all right, I guess you'll get me away from the treadmill, where I would have capped myself out at maybe 6:15 pace. And I was not even able to run 6:15. I couldn't even slow down. I was running so much faster. And so it just gave me this confidence boost of like, wow, like this is awesome, and I can do it. And why am I limiting myself? So don't limit yourself. Okay? Show up, be consistent, endure the process, endure the mundane. And on those hard days, if God is part of your life and your world, just ask him, hello. She's staring at me. Ask him to sustain you, to give you a little boost, to give you the strength and the confidence to just show up, no matter how long, even if it's just a short bit or for a small amount of time or whatever, and to ask him to help you not place so much guilt on yourself. He is not a God who condemns and brings shame upon his people. He loves you, and he wants so much for you, but he didn't promise an easy life, and we've talked about this. And so we have to endure. How else are we going to grow? Plants don't grow without weathering the storm. They don't get stronger. They have to learn to endure the rain, the wind, all of it. The bugs, the heat. So, hi. Are you talking? So, with that, I should probably exit this episode before little miss here starts to go crazy. But that is my hope and prayer for you. Excuse you. My hope and prayer for you is that, like this, no matter how imperfect it has to be, that you would just still show up, because there's meaning behind your desires. And I want you to feel fulfilled in life and fulfill your calling and your purpose that's been placed on your heart. Whether it's starting a business, whatever serving opportunities that you're looking to do. Relationships. What do you need to do to be consistent in a relationship that maybe it's your marriage, What do you need to do? Motherhood, man. Yeah, being consistent in motherhood in terms of, we lose our cool sometimes, and we don't want to. And how can we be consistent in showing up for our little people and showing them what it's like to have calm interactions and relate with them? And that's a whole nother topic. So with that, I hope that this episode just blessed you, encouraged you. I mean, I would love to know your takeaways. If there's something in your life that you are wanting to work towards. Sorry for the extra credit, behind the scenes noises here. And you can message me, you can email me. You know where to find me if you have my number. You have my email, all the things. So I hope that you guys have an awesome week. Please rate and review this show if you have been enjoying it. Feel free to share it on your platforms that you enjoy using so that we can spread this to other people. And this cute little baby voice. All right, friends. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.